welcome back to the channel. My name is Divyanka and I'm a doctor of pharmacy here in the US. On this channel, I strive to provide both you and I with helpful resources to live our best and most productive life. Today's video I feel like is much awaited, so I am so happy to be finally talking about this topic on FocusRx. And so today we are talking about what is medical writing. If you guys follow me on LinkedIn or follow kind of any part of my professional journey, you know that my day job, my 9 to 5, consists of me being a medical writer. I've gotten a lot of questions about medical writing, what it actually is, what it consists of, how to get into it, all of those things. So it's high time we started the topic of medical writing on this channel. So overall, medical writing is a really broad term, and it really just consists of any development and production of documents related to anything within the medicinal or healthcare industries. To be completely successful and proficient as a medical writer, you need to have an extremely sound scientific background, coupled, of course, with writing skills. There is absolutely always a need for medical writers within the medical industry because there's always data, there's always information needing to be transferred from one place to another. And the easiest mode that happens in is writing. Whether it's for a presentation, whether the information is going to the FDA, whether the data just needs to sit on file, whatever the project or the overall goal is, medical writing is usually always involved. The goal of medical writing is to convey scientific ideas and clinical data and research in a creative way to grab the reader's attention, to make sure the relevant information is highlighted, again, depending on your audience. And in our current modern world, the need to actually showcase this data, this scientific information, is only growing. Which then, of course, means that medical writers are in demand, and that is 100% true. Medical writing is kind of one of those industries that I don't think is talked about enough, but it is so in demand. If you have a scientific background, if you have a PharmD, MD, PhD of sorts, and really know your stuff, and then can convey it efficiently through writing, you will always have a job. The need is always going to be there, and like I said, the demand is just growing. Now, when it comes to types of writing and the audiences, again, medical writing is a really broad term. And so these documents can be both for a healthcare audience, so your doctors, your nurses, pharmacists, etc., but also for the general patient population. And again, when you're a writer, you should definitely possess the skill of being able to write to a healthcare audience who may know the scientific jargon, etc. And then also, again, to the general public, someone who may not know anything about science or about that disease state should be able to understand what you're writing. So again, so many different skills go into that, but overall, those are kind of the critical points where you really do need to pay attention. Now, although I've mentioned documents, medical writing can come in so many different types of deliverables. It can, of course, be different types of documents. It can be blog posts, PowerPoint presentation decks, videos, website content, the list literally goes on. Medical writing is literally everywhere, whether you realize it or not. And so there is someone behind all of these different things writing that content, and that can be you. And the great thing with that is, as a medical writer, you can kind of choose what types of medical writing really interest you. If you really want to write for a healthcare blog and don't care to, write documents for the FDA, then that's something that you can niche down into and really get good at. There are so many different types that I'm convinced there's medical writing for kind of every type of personality. As a medical writer, you of course work cross-functionally with an array of different types of people to basically gather all the information that you need to create whatever that deliverable is. So for instance, if I'm creating a certain document, I'm going to be touching base with all the different subject matter experts, whether it's clinical, whether it's statistics. I'm going to be talking to the investigator sites. I'm going to be talking to all these different types of healthcare professionals and people who may know the information that I need to bring in to whatever my deliverable is and be able to then explain what I need to. Medical writers aren't necessarily seen as subject matter experts. You're supposed to be, again, the liaison between all those people to make sure you're getting the information you need from the people who know that stuff. That in and of itself is a huge skill, and again is the core of a medical writer's job, and from experience is a really important part of the job. So it's a really cool experience getting to work with different types of people, different types of experts, KOLs, all of these professionals to then work on my deliverable and my document. I get to have these conversations, I get to gather the data, then I get to sit with it and really decipher, okay, what's important, what's not, and I get to decide how that information is relayed, again, whether it's a document, a blog post, a video, whatever. Of course, medical writing has a very, very technical aspect to it. So there are style guides, there are regulatory guidelines, there are general document guidelines that writers have to follow, again, depending on what type of document you're working on, who your audience is, and all of that stuff. So there is a really, really technical side to it, kind of apart from the science. You have to understand the style, you have to understand how you need to write these things, and a lot of those things are just technical to, the technology that we're using within Word, Adobe, PDFs, all of that stuff. So there is that technical aspect, and that's the stuff that you can learn on the job, in internships, etc., that are really, really necessary, again, as a medical writer. Overall, I will make a separate video on the different types of medical writing, but I did want to highlight that there are so many different types. There's medical communications, which is generally publications and manuscripts, things like that. There's medical education, which is of course medical education type training materials, for instance, that you would give to an MSL, for anyone internally of a company. There are external trainings that are necessary. There's a writer behind the scenes making sure that content is coming to life. There's regulatory writing, which of course, if you guys have followed me, again, that was my role at my previous job, and much, much more. Again, I'll go over this in another video, so don't be afraid. I'll kind of include all the details then, but know that there are several different types. But overall, I hope this was kind of a really good introduction as to what medical writing is, why it's important, and how it fits into, of course, the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry. If you're looking to be a medical writer, overall, there are some very, very key skills that you need to be able to be successful in this type of role. You definitely have to be exceptionally skilled at, again, gathering, organizing, and then interpreting data from multiple different people. You not only have to understand how to evaluate that type of data, but you also have to understand how to present it, and that is definitely a skill. If you're interested in becoming a medical writer, I hope some of these tips have helped you at least kind of frame what medical writing is and what you might need to look for, not only in job descriptions, but in terms of your own skills and how you can optimize your own resume or LinkedIn profile to fit within that role. This is just the beginning. We are going to be talking about medical writing so much more on this channel. It's going to become its own little series. So if you guys have any questions about medical writing, etc., drop them below or send them via email, and I will make a video about it because I really want to deep dive into this topic. A lot of you guys have asked about this, and I think it's, again, high time we discuss it. So overall, I hope this is a good overview to medical writing. We'll get into the nitty-gritty details in the upcoming videos, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. And of course, I hope you guys learned something as always. If you guys did find it helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm. It tells YouTube that this is good information and that they should push it out to those who need it. So if you guys want to support me, please do so. That is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching. I really appreciate your guys' support as always. And you guys will, of course, see me in the next video.